Can you tell me, why are you here today?
We're here today concerning the furlough days for the government workers. Yesterday we spoke to the Premier. Today we spoke to the Premier. The government's position is they want furlough days to remain on the table. The TUC and the government workers' position is we want furlough days removed.
All right, and for those who don't know, what is a furlough day?
Well, a furlough day is one day of the month that the government workers agreed to give up for 19 months, where you stay at home and the government takes that day up, 1 day's pay from you. That's what they call a furlough day.
How long are you willing to stay on strike?
Well, remember now, the workers have made a decision that they want furlough day removed before they go back to work. They made that clear to the Premier this morning. They made it clear to me as the Vice President of TUC. So it's their decision as to when it's all going to end.
Why are y'all here today?
We're out here in support of working men and women in Bermuda who have been struggling for over 19 months, having sacrificed for a furlough day, and the government who has made no real attempt to make a shared sacrifice across the board wants the workers to continue to take a furlough day, which means for many workers that they'll be struggling to put food on their table.
And how do you feel when you're told that, like, for each day that you're not at work, you will be deducted?
I think that that's an attempt to coerce people into surrendering their right to protest and to stand for justice. And I think that in the final analysis, that they will be vindicated. And so I think as long as the people stick together and we continue to be determined to remain here until we have resolved this matter, then I think we rise and fall together.
What's the turnout today?
Well, let me first say that it was back a couple of months ago when we were at the forum on Front Street, when the finance minister addressed the people that were present. He talked about the economy, he talked about furlough days. We asked him at that point in time how much of the furlough money made an impact on the situation. And I do believe, quote me today, that he said it hardly made any impact. So if it hardly made any impact, why are we here today arguing about whether it should come off the table or come on the table? The reason we're here today, and I feel good about what I see here today, because it just doesn't speak volumes for the government workers, but it's an issue that affects the country as a whole. If all of us is in this boat together, then all of us ought to be making a conscious contribution in order to solve what we find ourselves up against. It started back in 2010 when we were asked to take a wage freeze. From 2010, when we took a wage freeze, we then turned around and took overtime for straight pay. It started with a wage freeze. We haven't had a wage freeze since 2010. Then it started off with a work at overtime at straight time. We done that. They came back and they asked for a furlough day. Now, what we going to be asking us for again? When I think that this is everybody's thing, private sector and government. So when you look around us and you see not just the adults that it affects, but the children that it affects, because what will we say to these children for tomorrow if we don't stand up for now? So I think the powers that be, it will be incumbent of them to think about this thing. Put aside the big eyes and the small U's and come together collectively and do what's best for the country as a whole. That's my opinion.
All right, how do you feel about the turnout today?
Well, it's an excellent turnout, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, right now we've got, what we see now is that the public sector and all of the trade unions are very serious about where this country is today. I think that right now it goes to show that when negotiations, when you try to put a collaborative effort in place, and if that collaborative effort seems to not be a collaborative effort, then this is what's going to happen. I think that the unions have always come, even when I was president, the unions have always come to the table in good faith. When you hear something or see what has transpired thus far, then you know that there wasn't a really true collaborative effort on the other side of the table. All I'm saying right now is that there needs to be a concerted effort by government right now to realize not only where these pre-negotiations are, but really where this country is as a whole. And the people have had enough. I think that's the anthem that they've been saying all this morning. You know, enough is enough. And you see it today.
Today?
Well, I like the solidarity with the people, but what I think has put a damper on the whole thing as far as resolution is the Premier has come out and played his last card. And so now you're looking for resolution. Where do you get a resolution from where if he didn't play that last card, he could have been a part of the solution, a respectable part of the solution. So now you got to look for a third party to come in and try to pull this together. And I don't know where that third party is going to come from, because I don't see it from within the political ranks on the government, and nor do I see it in the Labor Department. So we've got some problems. We've got some problems, major problems here today.
All right, so how are you feeling about today's turnout as part of the Bermuda Union of Teachers?
I look at the crowd that's here, my heart is warmed. As a trade union Congress, we've come to the table with open hands, with a pure heart, but the government hasn't quite met us that same way. They've done some under the table dealings that we didn't appreciate. We feel that we're not being appreciated as, you know, the people that we are. To come out and make the statement that was made earlier is disrespectful. But my heart is warm to see my fellow Bermudians out here together in one accord, singing, dancing, but the message is going through. My heart's warmed by that. And I like
You look pretty comfortable here. How long are you willing to sit in this chair?
I'm willing to sit in this chair until the government takes further days off of the table. So if that means I have to sit there for the next 2-3 days, I'll sit there for the next 2 or 3 days.
So how are you feeling today about the turnout, about the whole event?
Well, I'm happy to see Bermudians sticking together. I'm happy to see that the dignity and the resolve is that we're not moving, we're standing our ground, because a lot of times they expect us to capitulate, and it's clear that the people aren't capitulating. And I think it's unfortunate that the government is not allowing the BTUC to present, I shouldn't say, they're not exploring the other options that were put on the table, and they want to take this route that the only way to save money is to cut people's pay, which eventually could lead to cutting people's jobs. So the thing that we all recognize is that we have a deficit that we need to close down, narrow down. However, it's how you do it, because each one of these persons have rent to pay, mortgage to pay, children to educate. And when you take away the ability to earn money, all of that starts going downhill, that somebody's going to lose their house, somebody's not going to be able to afford to take their child and go away to university to come back and get a decent job. So we have to stand our ground, and it's 7,000 of us,
Zerny 19 or them. So that's basically my thoughts. Stand your ground and power to the people. Amen.
I think that the government is making the wrong move. The communication has, as far as I'm concerned, has broken down. The government needs to take the furlough days off the books to get the negotiations started. You can't be threatening individuals. And at the end of the day expecting anything to accomplish. We should not be having this going on. And I'm hoping that some level-headed individuals within cabinet will make a clear understanding that let's get back to the negotiation table. The furlough days needs to come off the books. Now, when we get inside and negotiate, there's some things that may come back on the table. But right now, get it off, cut the expenses as much as possible, and at the end of the day, ask the union, what do we do further to make some cuts? But we can't have this continue going on right now and expect things to accomplish. We're not moving in the right direction.